The vision that shook the world. Imagine this, you're Tony Stark, the guy who's got it all, money, fame, tech genius, Iron Man. But one day something happens that makes even him question everything. What could shake a guy like that to his core? So here's the deal. It's a sunny afternoon in Washington, D.C., and Tony's at a massive charity gala in the Smithsonian's Arts and Industries building. The place is packed with senators, CEOs, and all the big shots you can imagine. Tony's in his element, cracking jokes, charming the crowd, sipping on a whiskey neat. But then, out of nowhere, the room goes dead silent. Why? Because the keynote speaker, a world-renowned spiritual leader named Father Michael, collapses mid-speech. His face turns ghostly white, his eyes lock onto something no one else can see, and he starts whispering words no one can make out. The air feels heavy, like something big's about to go down. Father Michael's not just any guy. He's been a voice of hope for millions, guiding people through wars, crises, you name it. But now he's on the floor, trembling, tears streaming down his face. His assistant, Bishop Carter, rushes to his side, but Father Michael waves him off with a shaky hand. When he finally speaks, his voice is weak but carries this eerie certainty. "Get me Tony Stark," he says. "I had a vision. He's the key to saving millions. I need him now." The crowd's stunned. Tony, standing in the back with a half smirk, freezes. Why him? He's built suits that saved the world, sure. But this feels different. His heart's racing as he pushes through the crowd. Father Michael's eyes meet his, and there's this intensity, like the old man staring right into his soul. "Tony," he whispers, "you've got a gift you don't even understand yet. I saw you in a moment that'll change everything. You have to listen." Now, Tony's no stranger to pressure, but this hits differently. Father Michael's health has been shaky for weeks. Rumors of heart trouble have been all over the news. Yet here he is, ignoring his doctors, insisting on talking to Tony. "There's no time," he says, gripping Tony's arm. "August 15th, next year in New York City. You'll be there, and you'll know what to do. It's tied to something from your past, something you buried deep." Tony's mind is spinning. Buried past? He's got plenty of skeletons, but nothing's clicking. The gala's turning into chaos. Cameras flashing, people whispering, medics rushing in. Father Michael's whisked away to a private room, but not before he slips Tony a small, heavy object wrapped in cloth. "Keep this safe," he murmurs. "It'll guide you when the time comes." As Tony stands there, clutching whatever this thing is, he feels the weight of 1,000 eyes on him. The genius who's always got an answer? He's got none. What do you do when a dying man tells you you're the key to saving millions? How do you even start to process that? Hey, quick pause. What would you do if someone looked you in the eye and said you were meant to change the world? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I'm curious. So Tony's left standing in the middle of this glittering DC gala, feeling like the ground's been pulled out from under him. He's used to saving the day with tech and bravado. But this feels like something bigger than Iron Man, something that's going to test him in ways he's never been tested before. If you're as hooked as I am, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what happens next. The weight of the unknown, all right? Let's dive back in. Tony Stark standing in the Smithsonian's Arts and Industries building, the chaos of the gala fading into a dull roar. He's holding this mysterious object. Father Michael slipped him, wrapped in rough cloth, and it feels heavier than burn, exagrocht. The gala's a mess. Medics are carting Father Michael off. Reporters are shouting questions. And Tony? He's just staring at this thing in his hand, heart pounding like he's back in a war zone. He's Tony Stark, the guy who laughs in the face of danger, but right now he's rattled. He ducks into a quiet corner of the Smithsonian, away from the flashing cameras, and unwraps the cloth. It's a small, ancient-looking silver medallion, worn smooth by time. One side shows a man carrying a child across a river. St. Christopher, he guesses. The other side's got some Latin phrase he can't read. Lux in Tenebris. He's no scholar, but even he can feel this thing's got history. It's warm to the touch, like it's alive, and it's freaking him out. Tony's built tech that can level cities, but this little piece of metal, it's got him feeling like a kid who's in over his head. His phone buzzes. Pepper probably wondering why he's not schmoozing with the senators. He ignores it. Instead, he calls Happy, his right-hand guy, who's waiting outside in the armored SUV. Happy, dig up everything you can on Father Michael's health and any weird stuff he's been saying lately, Tony says, voice low. And I mean everything. Happy's confused but doesn't argue. Tony's not sure what he's chasing, but Father Michael's words, August 15th, New York City, something from your past, are burned into his brain. Later that night, back at his penthouse in Manhattan, Tony's pacing. The medallions on his desk, glinting under the city lights, streaming through the floor-to-ceiling windows. He's got Jarvis, his AI, scanning every database for Lux and Tenebris. Turns out it means light in the darkness. Cool, but not exactly helpful. Jarvis also pulls up a dusty Vatican record saying the medallion's been passed down for centuries, always to someone destined to stand at a crossroads of fate. Tony snorts. Fate, give me a break. But deep down, he's not laughing. Father Michael knew something about him. How? The guy's never even met Tony before. The next morning, news hits like a bomb. Father Michael's in critical condition at George Washington University Hospital. Heart failure, they say, but he's refusing treatment until he speaks to Tony again. The media's going wild, speculating about the vision and why Iron Man's caught up in it. Tony's used to headlines, but this feels personal. He heads to the hospital, medallion in his pocket, dodging paparazzi like he's running from Hydra. At the hospital, Bishop Carter meets him in a sterile hallway. Mr. Stark, Carter says, voice tight, Father Michael's weak, but he's adamant about seeing you. Please keep this quiet. Tony nods, but his mind's racing. Inside the room, Father Michael looks like a ghost, pale, hooked to machines. But his eyes? They're alive, burning with purpose. Tony, he rasps, thank you for coming. I know you don't believe in this, but you will. Tony pulls up a chair, trying to play it cool. All right, Father, lay it on me. What's this vision and why's it got my name on it? Father Michael smiles, faint but warm. It's not about belief, son. It's about who you are. He pauses, catching his breath. I saw you in Times Square next August 15th, 6 p.m. A massive crowd, young people, music, lights. Something's coming, a danger only you can stop. It's tied to a moment from your childhood in Afghanistan before everything. Tony's blood runs cold. Afghanistan. He was just a kid when his dad's weapons demo went sideways, and he got trapped in a cave-in. A local man pulled him out, saved his life. Tony never told anyone, not Pepper, not Rhodey. How the hell does Father Michael know? What am I supposed to do? Tony asks, voice barely steady. What's the danger? Father Michael's eyes soften. You'll know when you see him. A man broken by loss, carrying a burden too heavy to bear. You'll recognize him, Tony, because you've carried that weight too. He reaches for Tony's hand, his grip surprisingly strong. The medallion will remind you who you are when doubt creeps in. Tony's throat tightens. He's faced aliens, gods, and his own demons. But this is personal in a way he can't dodge. What do you even say to that? Have you ever had a moment where someone saw right through you, knew something you buried deep? Hit the comments and let me know. I'm dying to hear your stories. As Tony leaves the hospital, the medallion feels heavier in his pocket. Father Michael's words echo. You've carried that weight too. He's not sure what's coming in Times Square, but one thing's clear. Whatever it is, it's going to test every ounce of who Tony Stark really is. Don't miss what happens next. Subscribe now so you're ready for part 3. Shadows of the past. So Tony Stark's walking out of George Washington University Hospital, the St. Christopher medallion burning a hole in his pocket. The DC air's thick with summer heat, but he's shivering. Father Michael's words keep looping in his head. Times Square, August 15th, a man you'll recognize, a danger only you can stop. And that bit about Afghanistan? It's like someone ripped open a scar he thought was long healed. Tony's no stranger to ghosts, but this one's different. It's personal. Back in his Manhattan penthouse, Tony's got the medallion under a microscope. Literally. He's scanning it with every piece of tech he's got, trying to crack its secrets. Jarvis chimes in, Sir, The medallion's composition suggests it was forged in the late 15th century, likely in Florence. The Latin inscription Lux in Tenebris appears in Vatican archives linked to a relic passed to bearers of light in times of crisis. Tony rolls his eyes. Great, so I'm a chosen one now? Spare me. But he can't shake the feeling that this thing's more than just old metal. It's like it's watching him. He pulls up old files on his Stark Industries server, stuff from when he was a kid. Afghanistan, 1980s. His dad Howard was showing off weapons to some military brass in a desert compound. Tony, barely 10, wandered off and got trapped in a cave-in during a sandstorm. A local worker, a guy with kind eyes and a limp, dug him out and carried him to safety. Tony never got his name. Howard hushed it up, said it had embarrassed the family. That memory's been buried for decades, but now it's clawing its way back. Tony's phone buzzes. It's Happy. Boss, Father Michael's slipping. Docs say he might not make it through the night. Also, I found something. He's been writing about visions for weeks, scribbling about you and some reckoning in New York. It's weird, Tony. Tony's gut twists. He's not ready to lose the one guy who might explain this mess. He grabs his jacket and heads back to the hospital, medallion in hand. The hospital's a zoo. Reporters camped out, praying crowds spilling into the street. Bishop Carter sneaks Tony in through a service entrance. Inside Father Michael's room, the air's heavy with the beep of monitors. The old man looks smaller, frailer, but when he sees Tony, his face lights up. You came back, he whispers. Good, there's more you need to know. Tony sits, leaning in close. I'm listening, Father. Hit me with it. Father Michael's voice is barely audible. In my vision, I saw you in Times Square, 6 p.m., August 15th, a charity concert, thousands of kids, bright lights. You're holding the medallion and you see him, a man in his 60s, gray hair, a limp. He's carrying something dangerous, Tony, a plan born of pain. You'll know him because of that day in Afghanistan. He saved you, but he's lost everything since. Tony's heart skips. The guy with the limp. How do you know this? He asks, voice cracking. Father Michael smiles faintly. God shows us what we need to see, not what we want. You've spent your life running from that day, Tony. The guilt, the fear. But it's made you who you are. The medallion's not magic. It's a reminder. You're not just Iron Man. You're a man who can change a single moment and save 1,000 lives. Tony's throat's so tight he can barely speak. Guilt? Yeah, he's got that in spades. He's always felt like he owed that stranger something, but he buried it under suits and sarcasm. What do I do when I see him? He asks. Father Michael's eyes glint. Trust your heart, Tony. You'll know. Look for the signs, a reflection in a window, the way the crowd moves. The medallion will ground you. A nurse knocks, signaling time's up. Father Michael grabs Tony's hand, his grip weak but fierce. One last thing, he says. There's a letter. Bishop Carter will give it to you after I'm gone. Don't open it until Times Square. Promise me. Tony nods, feeling like he's signing up for something he can't fully grasp. As he leaves, the medallion feels like it's pulsing against his chest. He's Tony Stark. He builds answers, not mysteries. But this is bigger than him. Have you ever had a moment where your past came back to haunt you, demanding you face it? Drop it in the comments. I want to know how you dealt with it. Tony steps into the DC night, the hospital's lights fading behind him. Father Michael's voice echoes. You're not just Iron Man. For the first time in years, Tony's not sure who he is. But he knows one thing, whatever's waiting in Times Square, he's not backing down. Hit subscribe so you don't miss part 4. This is just getting started. The letter and the promise. Tony Stark's back in his Manhattan penthouse. The city's neon glow spilling through the windows. It's past midnight, and he's staring at the St. Christopher medallion on his desk like it's a puzzle he can't solve. The news is blaring on every screen. Father Michael's gone. Passed away just hours after Tony left the hospital. The world's mourning a spiritual giant. But Tony, he's wrestling with something heavier. That promise he made, to wait for a letter, to face whatever's coming in Times Square. It's like a weight settled on his chest, and for once, no suit of armor can fix it. He's barely slept when Bishop Carter shows up at his door, looking like he hasn't either. The bishop's got a small, wax-sealed envelope in his hand, the kind you'd see in a museum. "Father Michael wanted you to have this," Carter says, voice low. "He said not to open it until August 15th, after whatever happens in Times Square." Tony takes it, the wax seal stamped with a cross that feels older than time. He wants to rip it open right there, but something stops him. A promise is a promise, even for a guy like Tony who's dodged plenty. He tucks the envelope into a safe in his workshop, next to the medallion. But it's like they're both screaming at him. "Lux in Tenebris, light in the darkness." Father Michael's words keep circling. A man with a limp, broken by loss, tied to Afghanistan. Tony's mind flashes to that cave-in, the sandstorm, the stranger who carried him out. He can still feel the guy's rough hands, hear his quiet voice saying, "You're gonna be okay, kid." Tony never saw him again, never even thanked him. The guilt's been buried under years of bravado, but now it's raw, like a wound torn open. He throws himself into work to drown it out. Stark Industries is buzzing. New clean energy projects, charity drives, you name it. But every night he's back in his workshop, digging through old files, trying to find anything on that Afghanistan trip. Jarvis pulls up grainy photos from Howard's archives. Military jeeps, desert tents, and there, in the background of one shot, a blurry figure with a limp. Tony's heart stops. It's him. No name, no record, just a ghost from his past. Months pass, and the medallion becomes part of him. He starts wearing it under his shirt, even during high-stakes meetings or when he's suiting up as Iron Man. It's not like he believes in destiny or whatever Father Michael was on about, but it grounds him, makes him feel steady. Pepper notices. "You're different, Tony," she says one night over dinner at a quiet spot in Brooklyn. "Quieter, what's going on?" He brushes it off with a grin, but inside he's counting down to August. Times Square is looming like a storm on the horizon. Then during a press conference in LA, a reporter throws him a curveball. "Mr. Stark, you gonna be at the Hope for Tomorrow concert in Times Square this August? It's for kids in crisis zones. Big deal, right?" Tony freezes. Hope for Tomorrow. He's heard about it. A huge charity event, music, young people, lights, exactly what Father Michael described. His mouth goes dry, but he plays it cool. "Yeah, maybe I'll swing by," he says, flashing his trademark smirk. But inside, he's freaking out. That night in his hotel, Tony calls his team. "Clear my schedule for August 15th. I'm going to that Times Square thing." Happy's on the line, worried. "Boss, you sure? This whole vision thing's got you wound up." Tony cuts him off. "I'm sure, Happy. I gotta do this." He doesn't say it out loud, but he feels it. This is bigger than him, bigger than Iron Man. "Hey, real quick, have you ever felt like you were being pulled towards something you couldn't explain? Like a moment you were meant to face? Drop it in the comments, because I'm betting Tony's not the only one who's been there." As August creeps closer, Tony's restless. He's got the medallion around his neck, the sealed envelope locked away in a memory he can't shake. Times Square's waiting, and so is a man from his past. Tony's faced down armies, but this feels like a fight he's not sure he's ready for. Don't miss what's coming. Subscribe now for part 5. Countdown to Fate. Tony Stark's in his Manhattan workshop, the St. Christopher medallion around his neck. It's early August, and Times Square, August 15th, 6 p.m., is closing in. Father Michael's vision, a danger only Tony can stop, has him on edge. He's prepping like it's a mission. Jarvis maps Times Square. Happy secures backstage access for the Hope for Tomorrow concert. Thousands of kids, music, lights, exactly what Father Michael described. The danger? A man with a limp tied to Tony's childhood in Afghanistan. Digging through old files, Tony finds a name. Hamid Reza, the worker who saved him from a cave-in. Records show Hamid lost everything. Family, home, hope. Tony's gut twists. He owes this guy his life, and now he might be a threat. Pepper notices Tony's quieter, haunted. "What's wrong?" she asks. He dodges, but he's counting down to August. At a press conference, a reporter mentions the Times Square concert. Tony's blood runs cold. It's real. He books his spot, no suit, just the medallion and a promise. Hey, ever felt pulled to a moment you couldn't explain? Drop it in the comments. August 15th is tomorrow. Tony's ready, but this fight feels bigger than Iron Man. Subscribe for part 6. It's getting intense. Facing the past. It's August 15th. Times Square buzzing with the Hope for Tomorrow concert. Tony's backstage, medallion burning against his chest, eyes scanning the crowd. It's 5:55 p.m., and Father Michael's vision is unfolding. A golden reflection hits a window, just as predicted. Tony's heart races. He's looking for Hamid Reza, the man who saved him in Afghanistan. Then he sees him, gray hair, limping, moving through the crowd with a bulky jacket. Tony pushes forward, spotting metal under Hamid's coat. "Hamid," he calls. The man freezes, eyes wide with shock, then shame. "You remember?" Hamid whispers, voice broken. "You saved me," Tony says, stepping closer. "I never forgot." Hamid's shaking, tears falling. "I lost everything, my family, my home. I've got nothing." Tony's throat tightens. "I know pain," he says, "but this won't fix it. Let me help you." The medallion feels alive, guiding him. Hamid pulls out a homemade device, dangerous but not a bomb, and collapses, sobbing. Tony signals happy. Medics take Hamid away discreetly. The concert rolls on, unaware. Ever talk someone back from the edge? Share in the comments. Tony's shaking, but he did it. Part 7's next. Subscribe now. Light in the darkness. Tony's in his hotel, the medallion beside Father Michael's sealed envelope. He opens it, hands trembling. Inside, a note and a Polaroid of young Tony with Hamid in Afghanistan. The note reads, "Tony, you faced the moment I saw. You saved a soul, and that's enough. Hamid lost his light. You gave it back. The medallion's no magic. Just a reminder we're connected. Keep being the light. Father Michael." Tony's eyes well up. Hamid's in care thanks to Tony's quiet help. The medallion, Lux in Tenebris, stays with him, a vow to carry on. He starts a small foundation, light in the darkness, helping people like Hamid. Years later, at his proudest moment, Tony touches the medallion. "The ones no one sees," he says, smiling. Ever make a difference that felt bigger than you? Comment below. Tony's still out there carrying Father Michael's faith. Subscribe to keep the light going.